Cleveland Abduction director swore this scene was cut, but we found it. What does it reveal about the ending? You won't believe your eyes. The film begins with the story of a young woman named Michelle, a 21-year-old single mother living with her mother. At an age when she should have been focused on her education and building a career, Michelle had been forced into early responsibilities. She got married young and became a mother at just 18. Her son was now 3 years old. Despite her challenging circumstances, Michelle was devoted to her child's upbringing. However, due to her lack of education, she hadn't even finished school. She struggled to find a job and went from place to place daily, trying to get hired at various laundromats, but was rejected everywhere after returning home exhausted from another failed job hunt. Michelle found a strange man sitting in her house. Her mother was not home, and the man was under the influence of drugs. When she sat down, he began misbehaving with her. Her young son tried to defend her and push the man, but in retaliation, the man shoved the child, causing him to hit his head and get seriously injured. A panicked Michelle rushed her son to the hospital. However, seeing the injury, the doctor became suspicious of Michelle, thinking she might be abusing or neglecting her child. The doctor contacted a social worker who temporarily took custody of the child until an investigation could be completed. The social worker questioned Michelle thoroughly. In tears, Michelle pleaded for her son to be returned, but the social worker denied her request, citing Michelle's lack of income, poor living conditions, and inability to ensure the child's safety. She advised Michelle to go to court if she wanted custody restored. Some days later, Michelle's friend helped her prepare for the court appearance, which was scheduled for the following week. On the day of her hearing, Michelle left home but didn't know where to go. After wandering for a while, she stopped by a shop to ask for directions. There, she ran into a man named Ariel, who offered her a lift. Since Ariel was her friend's father, Michelle trusted him and accepted the offer. On the way, Ariel suggested she get a dog for her son, knowing how much her child loved animals. Though initially hesitant due to time, she agreed, thinking it might make her son happy that when they arrived at Ariel's home, Michelle saw a dog outside and felt no suspicion. But once inside, Ariel locked the door. Before she could react, he tied her hands and feet, gagged her with tape, and suspended her from the ceiling using wires. Michelle was in extreme pain and terrified. Even in that moment, her only worry was missing court and losing her son forever. She begged Ariel to let her go, but he ignored her pleas and left her bound for hours. As time passed, and Michelle failed to appear in court, everyone assumed she had run away from her responsibilities. Even her mother, who already had a strained relationship with Michelle, believed the worst. No one looked for her. Michelle remained trapped, suspended, and suffering for 2 days until Ariel finally returned. Weak and starving, Michelle was in a miserable state, but Ariel raped her without remorse. Just then, there was a knock at the door. It was Ariel's mother bringing food. While Ariel was distracted, Michelle managed to free herself, but couldn't escape. Ariel caught her and pointed a gun at her. He declared that since his family had abandoned him, Michelle was now his everything. Years passed, and Michelle's condition worsened. On Christmas, she was still in captivity, poorly clothed and chained like an animal. Ariel abused her at will and locked her in a room with a TV and alarmed windows and doors. No one knew she was alive. One day, Michelle heard Ariel's daughter, her friend, arrive with friends for a party. Michelle tried to make noise by hitting her chain, but Ariel drowned out the sound with loud music. Michelle endured countless beatings and unspeakable suffering, but never lost hope. One day, Ariel brought her a dog. She bonded with it, but when she attempted to escape with the dog, Ariel caught her and killed the dog in front of her as a warning. Things got worse when Ariel kidnapped a 17-year-old girl named Amanda and chained her in another room. Michelle, though also a victim, tried to comfort Amanda, who was terrified and cried constantly. That Michelle saw on TV that the entire city was searching for Amanda. People were holding candlelight vigils, putting up missing posters, and praying. Michelle couldn't help but feel hurt. No one had searched for her like that. One day, Michelle found out she was pregnant. But when Ariel learned about it, he attacked her with a dumbbell, trying to force a miscarriage. She suffered deeply, but Ariel didn't care. When she recovered, he made her help with carpentry work. Once, while working outside, Michelle begged a neighbor for help, but the elderly man didn't understand her plea. Time passed. Michelle's faith in God kept her going. One day, she saw news that a 14-year-old girl had gone missing. Soon after, Michelle heard screams from the house. It was the new victim, Gina, another young girl Ariel had kidnapped. This time, a neighbor heard the noise and reported it to the police, but without clear evidence, they couldn't take action that Ariel continued abusing the girls. Michelle and Gina were kept in one room with their hair shaved, while Amanda, now his favorite, was kept in another room. Amanda's mother died heartbroken, still searching for her daughter. When Amanda became pregnant, Ariel surprisingly decided to keep the child. Michelle was forced at gunpoint to help deliver the baby girl. Over time, Amanda received slightly better treatment, but Michelle and Gina were still fed rotten food, denied basic hygiene, and lived in chains. Michelle, remembering her own son, marked his birthday every year by writing it on the wall. 7 years had passed since her abduction. When Amanda's daughter turned 6, Ariel made a mistake. He forgot to lock the door before leaving the house. The little girl noticed and alerted Amanda. Though she was suspicious, Amanda realized this might be a real opportunity. She stepped outside, confirmed the coast was clear, and started screaming for help. Neighbors responded and called the police. Amanda and her daughter were rescued, and the police raided Ariel's house, freeing Michelle and Gina. At first, Michelle couldn't believe she was finally free. Her first concern was her son. However, all 3 girls were taken to the hospital due to their severe trauma. Michelle, deeply scarred, couldn't tolerate the presence of any male nurse or doctor and would scream and feared. Amanda and Gina's families came to support and comfort them, but no one came for Michelle. Eventually, she learned that her son had been adopted by a good family when he was 4. The new parents did not want the child to know about Michelle. The government provided her with housing and security, and she later testified in court, seeking justice for all the years of torment. Ariel was sentenced to 1,000 years in prison. However, unable to endure prison life and the shame of his crimes, he committed suicide a month later. As for Michelle, Amanda, and Gina, they began their journey of healing, determined to move forward and reclaim their lives. And thus, the film ends on a bittersweet note of freedom and resilience. But Ariel, the so-called deleted scene from Cleveland Abduction, he made her help with a haunting detail that completely reframes the ending. In this scene, we see Ariel Castro watching Michelle Knight from a hidden camera, not out of control, but calm and calculated. This contradicts the image of a man spiraling, suggesting that even his apparent breakdown was staged. The chilling implication? Castro may have planned everything, right down to his final moments. No wonder the director didn't want this scene included. It challenges everything we thought we knew about his downfall. Still confused about the ending? Don't worry, even the actors were. Let's argue about it below, and hit subscribe for more chaos.